What is up, guys? Tech Asian back here again, and we're going through another 2 lessons today. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna be passing and prompting using that argument variable that we had from yesterday. We're also gonna be combining it with input together, so the two of them are gonna be together. And yeah, I was trying to get that input to work from yesterday, but I didn't exactly know how. But today this gonna be like a little game in here as well. So let's start by opening up VS Code, as is the traditional way. Alrighty. We're just gonna call this file. Let's wait until it loads. Okay. We're gonna create a file. We're just gonna call this prompt.py. Alrighty, so what we do first is we have to go from system, remember, import argv, and then we'll do script, comma, user underscore name equals argv. So remember, this accepts one value, because script is going to be the file name, if you remember that from yesterday, and username is what we're going to give this a value of. And we're going to create another string. We're going to call it prompt, and it's going to be the greater than symbol. And then we're going to say print high %s, comma, I'm the NS script. I'm the blank script. So now we have to define this. And so the first one is going to be user underscore name. The second one is going to be the script. So remember, the name is going to print out the file name. So it's going to be prompt. So hi username, whatever username you decide to input, I'm the prompt script is what it's going to print out. Alrighty. Let's print I'd like to ask you a few questions. Print, do you like me? %s. And then this would be just username. And then likes equals, this is going to be an input value, and it's going to be prompt. Alrighty. Then we're going to do print where do you live? %s. And then we got to put a question mark there. And then this will also be a % user underscore name. And then lives equals input prompt. Alrighty. So print what kind of computer do you have? And then obviously it's going to computer equals input, and then it's going to be a prompt. I don't know the difference between prompt equals and just prompt, but I think it's just the same thing. You can set it as anything. So print the triple quotation marks, and then All right, so you said %r about liking me, period. You live in %r. Not sure where that is, and you have a %r computer. Nice. Okay, and that %feature, and then likes, lives, computer. All right. So let's run this, and remember when we're using this argument feature, you're gonna have to type in the file. So you're gonna have to type in Python the file name. So in this case, it's gonna be prompt.py. I'm getting an error for some reason. It's probably not likes, is it now? Likes equals input prompt. That's weird. Likes, lives, computer. Why is this invalid syntax? Oh, wait. Is that because... that's why. Because I didn't do this. That's why. Alrighty. Just a simple minor mistake on my part. But yeah, so going back, you're gonna have to open a terminal, Python, prompt.py. So if you don't know, if this doesn't automatically open here, you're gonna want to go to terminal up here and just click new terminal, and it'll just bring up another one. So Python, prompt.py, and so the first value for what you're gonna want to put for username is just put a random name in here, and yeah, that's all that needs. So let's say my name is Tech Asian. Will it hold two values? Too many values. Okay. So if, yeah, prompt.py, let's just say tech underscore Asian, and then that should be fine. So do you like me? Sure. Where do you live? Let's say the United States. What kind of computer do you have? I have a Dell computer. Alrighty, so, alright, you said yes about liking me, you live. Alright, so now let's analyze. We got what we wanted it to print, so let's analyze this whole thing again. So, hi tech agent, I'm the prompt.py script. So that makes sense. That's what we expected, how I was saying this. And then this replaces the username value, and throughout this whole time, you put the likes after, so it runs this code. Your likes, you put an input, so it prints this, it tells you to input that, prints this, inputs that, print this, asks you to input. And I'm pretty sure prompt can hold anything, so let's try it again, and let's see if we can put more than just like one word in, per se. So let's run Python prompt.py and username tech underscore Asian. Alrighty. And then so let's put maybe question mark. And where do you live? Let's say PA, USA. What kind of computer? Let's say Dell, and then let's be more specific. I have an Inspiron because I'm a cheap dude. Alrighty. And right here, so we can see that it can print out more than one value, and when you're using prompt can hold any value, so it doesn't have to be like anything in particular. I'm not sure what happens if we do it without this, if we just do input, because pretty sure you can do that. I just think that maybe prompt can only hold not exactly sure what prompt does. Alright, notice that we make a variable prompt that is set to the prompt we want. Alright, so alright, so let's say this was prompt again, so let me undo all the deletes. And then so we set prompt to this, so let's change this value to a different value. So this prompt value was to show up before it, and what it did was basically create this marker so like people knew where to type in to start typing in from. So instead of this, let's try like numbers. So like what if we do 1 2 3 4 5 and we run it? It'll probably just show up that number, right? That'd be odd, but like it's good to know that in order to have something show up before it. Oh, my bad. You're supposed to type it in from here. Python prompt.py username techasian. Alrighty. And yeah, so it shows the numbers before it. So that's what the prompt thing does. So that's pretty interesting as well. All right. So you can play around with that. If not, then I guess we get the idea of what everything does. So you got your username, you got your prompt. We had this %r, the debugging. I think they're called escape characters, and or formatting characters. And yeah. Next one. So next we're gonna do reading files. So how do you read different files? And yeah, so we're gonna call this. We're gonna have to create two files in this case because we're gonna want to read one and we're gonna want to do something with it. So let's get started with. How about we did the prompt.py, so we're gonna keep this file, and we're gonna be reading this file. Although it's not just a pure text file, though. All right, let's just make a pure text file then. We're gonna call this a text file, so let's just call it sample underscore text, and then the extension for text is txt. So just call it sample text. It's going to be a text document, and you just type stuff in it because it's just a regular document. Just imagine this as like a Google Docs file or a Word file, and you just type things into it. So this stuff I typed into a file. We'll just type some random stuff. It is really cool stuff. And then lots and lots of fun to have here. Alrighty, so pretty easy stuff right there. This is just a text file. Then now we're gonna get into the actual part of it. So we're just gonna call this, to go along with it, we're just gonna call this sample text.py in this case. So now we have a Python file and a text file. So what does the Python file do? We gotta do from syst import argument variable. Alrighty, script comma file name equals argument value, and then let's do txt. So this is gonna be text is gonna equal, so we're gonna have a variable is gonna equal file name. So we have to set this file name though. So it's gonna open a file and return a stream. So yeah. So it's gonna do that, and then obviously we could have set this file name directly, but we have this in argument, so we're gonna have to specify the file name later on. But yeah, so we're gonna print. Let me get this. Here's the file %r. and then we're gonna get the file name. So this is where the script also comes in, because it's gonna give you the file name, and then it's gonna be print let's see, print txt.read. So it's gonna read the text file in this case, and it's gonna print whatever's in there, and then this is gonna specify type the file name again. And then remember last time what we just did, but with prompt variable. So this is gonna have the user input, but instead of just, because for the other one we could have changed the prompt variable right here, like 1 2 3 4 5, and then we had that greater than symbol. But now in this time around, we can just hard code that in there. So, but the only bad thing about this is, let's say I wanted to change this later on, and say for prompt, instead of just changing it up here, I would have to change it down here in every single time. But since we're only using this input value once, doesn't really matter. So text again equals open file underscore again. So it's gonna open this file, which is interesting. Okay, and then print txt. Let's put these inside. Print text underscore again dot read, and then that's a function right there. So this is going to be a function where it's an input output, and it's going to read something, but not exactly sure what we're going to do. So we'll run this, see what happens, and then we'll figure it out. So can't run it through this method. Remember, we're going to have to go through this terminal. Alrighty. Let's get rid of this. Alright, so we're gonna run this as Python sample underscore text.py, and what we're gonna call, we made the file, so we have to specify the file name. So what's our file name? We're gonna it's gonna be called sample text.txt. Here's the file, sample.txt, built-in method of built-in read. Alright, type the file name again, sample underscore text dot txt. Alright, so then now it appears. So what's happening here? So let's scroll up. 1 through 3 is pretty self-explanatory. So we use the argument to get the file name, and then we notice that in line 5, we have a command here that says we're gonna set we have a command that text equals open file name. So it's gonna open the file name. So you open the file, right? And then in line 7, we print a line, and then so it's going to be, here's the file, and then it reads the file, built-in method of underscore. So that's the odd part, what's appearing there. So for line 7, we print a line, but on line 8, we have something very new and say we call a function on text. What you got back from open is a file. Also, it's also got commands you can give it. All right, so we open the file right here, but it's supposed to read, but it doesn't read this file for some reason. So you type it in again, and then it reads. So maybe instead of putting, this has to be a function like this. And then I suspect that if we read it now, it should work. And then it says type the file name again. Yeah, so there we go. Just remember right here, this we're calling a function right here. But in order to get this to work, you're gonna have to put in these parentheses for it to work because you're calling in a function. Because apparently it says that when you give a file a command by using the dot or the period mark, so right here, you're issuing a command and the name of the command and parameters. But like when you the difference between the top one and doing this is that you're telling the text to read the command with no parameters versus having parameters. So if you have this in here, you're having it read without parameters and reading with parameters. And I guess that's what's happening. And if you want it to read it twice at first, you're going to have to put those marks in. Alrighty, I know it's confusing a little bit. It says run PyDoc, so let's see what PyDoc is. Python PyDoc. There's no that file. Alright, that's all for today. I know it's a bit confusing, but the video is going a bit long, so we'll end it there, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.